initial idea, which was just this kind of mobile app that was outputting GIFs, to now being a professional software used all around the world, reaching #1, selling a lot of copies, and really consequently propagating and evangelizing an entirely new medium.
That's new.
And that gets us really, really excited.
People that say cinemagraphs are gimmick are probably similar to those that said talkies in the early days of film were just some sort of silly short-term thing. But they're going to evolve just like film, just like video has, to something that people see and use all the time.
We believe Cinemagraph is going to fundamentally transform advertising. I was on StumbleUpon, and I basically saw this beautiful imagery by Jamie Beck and Kevin Berg. The hair was flowing, and everything else was still, and it was just this mesmerizing image. And so basically from there I said, well, there must be an application that allows me to create this. There's an app for everything. And after reviewing, there was no application. And then the more I did research, I saw how complicated it was for them to create. It took, in some cases, 3 to 5 days to create just one. I can't be the only one who wants to create one of these. And that's really what started the birth of Flixel as a company.
There's something very interesting about how you were able to tell a kind of a complete narrative or storyline within a single sort of static frame with just a hint of motion.
I basically contacted Mark and I said, look at the Cinemagraph. He saw it, he was blown away, and I said, I think we can make an application that can change the world.
The only problem with that was that neither of us had ever actually built any kind of technology.
Phil and Mark walked in the first day. They said, yeah, we have this idea for this app. It's kind of like Instagram, but it makes these Cinemagraph things. And I had absolutely no idea how to do that, right? It wasn't something that was done before. And of course, my answer to anything like that is yes, because I don't know how to do that today, but I'll figure it out.
The idea of Instagram, what they did for filters, we thought we could do the same for this new medium called Cinemagraph.
Our initial launch was actually really successful. We got to like 100,000 users in 3 weeks, and we were working around the clock and setting up interviews, and it was great.
What ended up happening, though, was that a competitor launched 3 weeks before us with a very limited app. They ended up going the opposite direction, where they released a very limited app and then expanded it after they had launched.
And in the social network game, there's a winner-take-all situation. And it was clear that they were taking a big, big lead, and we were way behind. So that kind of posed an interesting challenge to us.
It was one of those things where we knew we needed to sit down and say, well, either this is it, or we do something new. We change a direction, and we kind of build that out.
And you have a limited amount of time, limited amount of resources, and money is running out. So what do you do?
At that point, it meant we had to rebuild technically. And so for that reason, all marketing efforts had to stop. And Mark was on the marketing side of the business, and we were running out of money, so we basically had to make a tough decision. And ultimately, Mark left, realizing that it was the only way to save the company. Now, those were really tough times. We were running out of money. It became clear that the investors were not going to basically fund our next iteration. We lost their support, and we needed a miracle to save us.
You know, I didn't want to tell Phil or anybody on the team sort of what was happening until I knew it was something real. I go to Los Angeles and I have this first meeting. They booked me for like 20 minutes or something. You know, come talk to us, we want to meet you, that kind of a thing. Maybe we have an opportunity at something here.
And Mark calls me and he says, how was your day? And I said, it was awful. And I said, how was yours? And he says,
I may have some good news for you. There's a chance you may be on America's Next Top Model. He's like, okay, well, you're technically, you don't even work for us anymore, but all right, here's an opportunity to save this company. We can do something here. Okay, game changer. Okay.
So I've been doing America's Next Top Model for 19 cycles, and for 19 cycles we've had fantastic, beautiful, wonderful photos. But they were still. They were static, they were just photos. But technology is advancing and people want more. I want more as an executive producer, creator of Top Model. As a team, we're always thinking, what's new, what's next? How can we incorporate technology there and wow not only the Top Model fan, but people that will be coming to Top Model anew? And I feel like we found it. We've incorporated living photos, Flixels.
One of the motivators that I used for that with myself, as well as with the team, was the idea that every time we evaluated, is this good enough? I used the phrase, well, is it worthy of an ADA? ADA is an Apple Design Award. So this is kind of the Oscar of the software development community.
And we'd like to award an ADA tonight to
Cinemagraph Pro by Flixel Photos.
Cinemagraph Pro.
We got to celebrate that day, and then the next day we were right back at it.
we became the #1 top-selling app in the Mac App Store. And it was an exhilarating feeling because we thought, okay, now we finally got it.
There was an editorial in Adweek that talked about how Facebook had been experimenting with some of their larger customers to run Cinemagraph ads in Instagram. This is the aha moment for Flixel. We're going to start to see this universal acceptance of Cinemagraphs, and that's driven by our awesome tech, which makes it incredibly easy to create a Cinemagraph, a process that used to take people, hours or days, or as some people talk about in the media, weeks.
Flixel right now is at a very interesting spot. All the market forces have finally aligned for Cinemagraphs to take off. The fact that we're building the tools to make this super easy, that's a great position to be in.